Hi, I'm Mark Haddon, and this is In Leather, the show for the leather community for Melbourne and Australia. And today I've got with me in the studio the Vice President of Vic Leather, Andrew Lovett. Hi, Andrew.
Hey, Mark.
And I've got Steve O'Leary. Hello, Steve. How are you going?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Today we're going to be talking about, I'm going to make it more personal today, and I want to find out how you guys got into leather and what it means to you. So, Steve, what was your leather awakening?
I had to think back about that because it was a very long time ago. I just happened to see somebody who was wearing leather one day, and I kind of quite liked it and thought it was very sexy, and kind of had this fantasy about men in leather, vests and chaps and things like that. And when I saved enough money, went out and bought my first harness and this particular vest that I've got on, and I probably got them about 30 years ago.
Well, so it's been quite a long time.
It's been a long time. I don't have an extensive collection of leather, but I have my, my favourite pieces, and I sort of wear them as much as I can. I like wearing leather. I think they're a really nice thing to wear. They can be cool and also warm, depending on the time of year. Very comfortable, and of course, with all sort of natural products, they sort of mould to your body and fit very nicely.
What about you, Andrew? How did you get into the leather community?
I started by meeting a very nice guy about 10 years ago, and he introduced me to a couple of his friends who were part of the leather scene here in Melbourne. And just over a dinner party, they all encouraged me to come. They said, we should bring you out to a Beyond, which is a leather party we had here in Melbourne, which ran for about 13 years. And my response was, Beyond what? And they all giggled and laughed and had a bit of a joke. And then they explained, well, it's a leather party, and it's 95% guys, about 5% girls, but great music, great people, great atmosphere, a lot of fun. And I said, oh, I don't own any leather. And the friend Neil, who it was his dinner party, said, oh, we can fix that. We can. So a week before the party, Neil took me leather shopping.
Oh, wow.
So we went along to Eagle Leather and tried on a bunch of things, and ended up coming out with a pair of chaps, which was my very first leather item. And we went along to Beyond, and from there it was a very slippery slope. I've met some of the most warmest, kindest, amazing people in the leather scene. So that's how I got my start, and that's kind of what's kept me kind of involved in the leather scene, really. Yeah.
Now, we do talk about the word community a lot with leather, and a lot of the gay communities. But so with the leather community, Steve, what's your feeling about the leather community of today and how you fit into it? Is it a nice cohesive community, or how would you describe it?
It is a nice cohesive community. I was talking to a friend over the weekend who has now retired from his work and he's living up in the country. And he was saying, oh, I used to go to the Laird, I used to be a DJ there all the time, we used to do all the leather parties. He said, if I walked in there now, I probably wouldn't recognise anyone. And I think he's quite right, because there's now a lot more people going to the Laird who are of the younger generation, who like leather and like sort of the masculine men. But there's also like another group of younger guys who are now starting to buy and wear leather and go out to leather parties. There's quite a large group that go off to some of the non-leather parties, but they go wearing their leather. And I think they quite enjoy the whole sort of feel and look of it as well. It certainly has increased the number of people at the Laird, and I think they're the next leather group that will be hanging around the Laird in the next 20, 30 years. Where the other ones have decided to move to the country.
Well, I think like most gay communities, people, you pair off and you get settled, and
Indeed.
a lot of people's dream is to move to the country, I suppose. But in terms of the leather community and the values of the leather community, Andrew, what's some of the values of the leather community that you were drawn to? Sure.
There are two major kind of acronyms really when it comes to the leather values, which are HARD and HILT. HARD being honesty, accountability, responsibility, and duty. So those are four principles or four values really that kind of hit home to me quite hard. HILT is, again, honesty, integrity, loyalty, and trust. So that's what kind of attracted me, I suppose, to the leather scene when I first kind of started exploring, is that the people that I was meeting all had, they all lived their lives by these values. The gay scene that I was exposed to prior to that had been a little bit, there was a little bit of attitude, a little bit of, and so for me as a younger gay man, it was really nice and refreshing to meet some people who were all about, they were honest, they were, all lovely people who, no attitude is a big thing that I associate with the leather scene we have here in Melbourne. Is that our leather brothers and sisters love wearing leather, and as long as that's all that you need is that your love of wearing leather, and so there's it's very much a no attitude scene. Yeah,
and I think that's one of the things that has lately attracted me to the leather community as well, is like the people I'm getting to know really have a strong sense of integrity and honesty about them. And I suppose when you first look at the leather community, it can probably be a little bit daunting almost. You don't really know what you're getting into. Do you find that, Steve, that people have people talked to you about it and gone, well, I'd like to know more about it?
I've had friends that I've met that we've gone out for a drink for, and I say, oh, let's go to the Lead. Oh, what's that? I've never been there. You say, well, it's a men's only sort of leather bar with bears, and they like the idea of it, but they're kind of frightened about the fact that there's all these men in leather. So they'll wait outside rather than go inside, and wait for you in there. So you walk them in and they go, but where's all the men in leather? It's like, these are all leather men. They're not wearing their leather, but they're leather men. And once people sort of relax and settle down a bit, they'll become more and more comfortable. And my friends now sort of go there on a regular basis. Don't wait outside, they go inside.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it's seen as almost an epitome of masculinity. But then saying that, there are a lot of women involved in leather as well.
Definitely.
There is.
We have quite a few female members of Vic Leather, and it's not just about masculinity, but it's also about our leather women and leather girls love wearing their leather. They look fantastic in it.
They do. Yeah.
The one thing that about leather women that I love is that they can wear a leather corset.
Exactly.
And they look amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, look, we have run out of time, unfortunately, but thank you, Steve. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
And this has been In Leather, and we'll see you next time on Bent TV.